there are vulnerabilities in your front door that may allow APT actors to get in.
Manny, I understand that you're looking into a VPN issue.
Yeah, so this is an interesting story. So this one basically involves an advisory that came out from the NSA to advise basically the public about potential APT group, an APT group that wasn't exactly announced within the advisory itself. But the article that I read kind of points a little bit to APT 5, but again, wasn't named exactly in the advisory. But the NSA was basically pushing out an advisory to let folks know about these unpatched VPN devices that they are seeing this APT group sort of attacking. So not only did the NSA come out and provide an advisory that included 3 CVEs, but the National Cybersecurity Center, which is, I guess, the equivalent in the UK, also pushed out an advisory of their own that included 3 additional CVEs within their advisory, all pointing at these basically unpatched, or I think what they actually call unsupported VPN technologies. So the 3 manufacturers that or products were Pulse Secure, the Palo Alto Global Protect, and the Fortinet FortiGate. And unfortunately, as we've always seen with these types of advisories and announcements, some of these advisories actually go back to 2018. So some of the vulnerabilities that they're hitting these boxes are vulnerabilities that were, announced back in 2018. And some of the vulnerabilities, so if you look through these, and I'm not going to go into detail what each one of the CVEs, but a general sort of look across these, obviously they're all hitting these VPN technologies, but they allow the things like retrieval of arbitrary files, RCEs, hijacking of encrypted sessions, and unfortunately, a lot of these CVEs, because they've been around for a while, already have Metasploit code already built into Metasploit. So there's already exploits built into Metasploit, and there's some that are available in GitHub. Okay. So this stuff's
really easy for even an entry-level hacker to.
I had seen one of the issues with wildcard certificates, which is very much frowned upon.
Yep. Yeah. So so it's obviously a big, huge issue. Again, some of these are just like default password kinds of vulnerabilities as well. So that's really just as bad as it gets. And unfortunately, the advisory is advising that they're seeing the use of these compromises attacking both U.S. and UK in the UK as well, which is why you saw the advisories from both of those countries.
So in terms of targeting, they're talking about in like the commercial sector for businesses for
Correct.
The most part that they're
For the most part, yeah.
Because I mean, Pulse Secure and Fortinet for sure are used pretty widely in like a lot of businesses.
Yeah. Yep.
And Cisco as well, which is not in here. But.
And you'll have to look through, there's a lot of information, so anybody who's obviously interested in this and realizes that they may be running one of these, it would be good to look through the advisory, because the advisory is full of a lot of information, especially version numbers for these devices, because there are certain version numbers that are obviously vulnerable to these CVEs. So you'd want to take a look through those, including within those advisories. There's also, which is kind of nice, and I'm not sure if we always see this in advisories, but there's a pretty good section at the end of the advisory that talks about sort of hardening of VPN devices. So if you look through there, they talk about using multi-factor authentication, not allowing VPN administrators to log in over the internet to manage their devices, which seems like a a no duh kind of thing,
Right.
but
I bet it happens a lot.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it happens a lot. And also, one of the other things is disabling non-needed services. So a lot of these VPN devices offer up all these like file sharing services that if you don't need them, don't have them turned on, because
Right,
everything
right.
that you have turned on basically turns into a vector
Right.
for a vulnerability to exist. So
Manny, what do you think about, this is, obviously these are security products, but it's obvious that they're not, nobody's exempt from security flaws. I mean, is that something that you think is a trend or just, that this needs to continue, that we look at everything?
yeah, unfortunately, you have to continue to keep looking at everything, right? I mean, this is the stuff that we're seeing. I mean, this is almost like sort of another story about another set of devices that are out there that sort of run their course. And these things are, unfortunately, like these other things, they hang out on the internet, right? I mean, so
Right.
they're not like things that you bury down deep into your network. They're things that you literally set up as the security points into your network.
Yeah, that's the big difference with this story, is that these types of VPN solutions are the primary entry point or access point to a lot of businesses' corporate networks. And if an attacker can compromise that and get on to your corporate network via an exploit in this way, then the soft inside of your corporate network is highly vulnerable at that point to an attacker. So that would be the most concerning part.
Yep, absolutely. It's game over at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say people should heed your warning, and if they use these products, they should probably take a look to make sure they're not impacted. And if they are, patch them, try to figure out if they've seen any sort of historical penetration attempts of this nature or not.
And one key thing that they actually state in the advisory as well, which you would think is sort of a no-brainer, but once you run the patch, you should still go back and change out all the passwords for the device itself, because you don't know, right?
Yeah,
the patch
it could have
doesn't
been compromised, and you don't know.
Then you run the patch, and you think, oh, I ran the patch, I'm protected now. No, you're not.
They put a backdoor with a password. They got the password.
They got the password,
maybe
exactly.
admin account or something like that. So, I completely agree.
Yeah.
The fact that there's some vulnerabilities here, some of them being some serious ones that are, remote code execution or allow them to gain access to the VPN without being authenticated, is a little troubling. You would definitely want to make sure that you have patches applied if you use these products, so that you can secure your corporate network from any type of intrusion of that nature.